where I got that information from? What?
An email?
Jail.
Should have the video.
The show that comes on in the middle of the night. You tell me.
I can tell you that.
Welcome back to another Shields of Shame video miniseries. Meet Scott Boutwell, a former shamed jail captain at the Brooks County Sheriff's Office in Quitman, Georgia. Boutwell and 4 other officers were charged in the assault and torture of multiple inmates, particularly an inmate by the name of Stephen Stiles. A 2016 incident of alleged excessive force by Captain Scott Boutwell occurs at Brooks County Jail against inmate Stephen Stiles. Boutwell reportedly knees inmate Stephen Stiles, who is handcuffed and held down by other officers.
Inmates were regularly subjected to shower treatment torture by placing inmates in a restraint chair, handcuffed, then placed in a shower with the water running. Inmates were assaulted and stripped of basic human rights. The entire agency was brought to its knees as just about every officer at the jail was questioned along with many inmates. There are mountains of documents to read through at shieldsofshame.com, all links in the description box. The officers were recently decertified in 2023, which is why this case has been so cold for so long. Let's heat it up. Thank you for your support, and be sure to let me know what you think of this in the comments below.
0037-34-17. It is Thursday, September 15th, 2016. It's approximately 1:45. I'm at the Brooks County Sheriff's Office, CID, to interview Rina, I believe it's Griffin, who's come forward with some information. Real quick, let me get you information. It's Rina, R-E-N-A.
R-I-N-A.
R-I-N-A, okay. And last name?
Griffin.
G-R-I-F-F-I-N? Okay. All right, so I know that you have some information regarding, I would say, some incidents at the jail with with Captain Boutwell. And so what I understand, you used to work over there. You're still, I think, under the jail, but because of some light duty stuff, you're working at the 911 center.
Right.
And that you went home and got some notes that you kept up with. So I'm going to let you kind of just start off and tell me what you got. And I'm going to take a lot of notes because otherwise I'll never remember what we're talking about, okay?
No problem. I couldn't find the notes that were relevant to the stuff we need to talk about, but I found some reports that are. So on April the 4th of this year, at approximately 11:40 in the morning, we had a confrontation with an inmate. We were serving lunch, and it was me and Officer Davis, and he got mad because diabetics get 2 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches instead of a meat sandwich. So one of my other officers was walking in, and he threw the sandwich and it hit her. So of course we went in and we were going to take him to lockdown. We ended up fighting him because he was mad and he didn't want to go to lockdown. And finally got him cuffed, and then we brought him up front and we were told to put him in a restraint chair. We do that when they're combative, but once we got him in the restraint chair, Captain Boutwell took over and made us take him to the shower, and then for a good while he was repeatedly pushing the shower button while the inmate was strapped in the restraint chair. So
and the buttons were those pressure buttons, right? So it keeps it on for a certain amount of time till the pressure releases.
But every time it would start to go off, I didn't touch it, but my officers were instructed to hit it again.
Okay. Who was the inmate?
Tony Staten. I got these reports.
Yeah, I'll get some copies. I'll get copies of those if you don't mind.
The problem is I was not allowed to put that in my report.
Well, and so let me ask you, because I think I heard you had some reports and I was curious about them. Are these like a copy of a report before you changed them, or this is actually what's in the system?
These are what's in the system.
Okay, all right.
I do not have a copy of what was written before what actually happened.
Okay.
This one, I didn't even get to write what actually happened to begin with. I was just told that didn't need to be in my report.
Which part? The water part?
Right.
Okay.
Where we put him. It is that we put him in the chair, but then I was not allowed to put that he was put in the shower. Honestly, I believe it was about 15 minutes he was under that water, 15 to 20 minutes. It was a good while that button was repeatedly pressed.
All right. So Let me back up here for just a second. The reports, you said on that one, you never even wrote a report to begin with because you were told. You were told by who?
Captain Boutwell, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
that's fine. I have to specify that to be sure. I know you're talking about, but I have to verify, so.
Yes, sir, I understand.
And he told you that specifically?
Yes.
Okay. Did he tell anybody else? I mean, was it said out loud or was that said to you specifically later on?
When I went to write my report,
Mhm.
nobody else was around at that time. Nobody else put it in their report. I don't know if they were told not to or not. And then there was...
Well, hold on, let me stay on this one. I have a lot of questions on each one, that's okay.
Okay.
So you're saying that was it on April 4, 2016 at 11:40 a.m.
Yes.
Who all were witnesses? Who all would have been there?
Officer Mobley, Charity Mobley,
Mobley?
yes.
Okay.
Officer Jaquad Davis, that's JLR, and Lieutenant Giddens.
Who strapped inmate Staten into the chair?
It was a while ago. So.
Sure, no,
I know that
that's why I write reports too, you know.
I know that it was me, Davis, and I think Giddens. I don't know why I didn't specify that in here, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But I was told to back out at one point, I guess because the guys were going to handle it, so.
Okay, so the three of y'all do the strapping. At some point you back out, but the strapping is done by the three of y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so how did that occur? Who told you to strap him into the chair? Was that just y'all kind of, you're going to do that because of his behavior? What was the...
I mean,
do you remember?
we usually do that, but Lieutenant Giddens and Lieutenant Giddens came back there in the back when we were fighting with him. As a matter of fact, when the fight broke out with him, I had called Lieutenant Giddens back there to help us because honestly, I was already supposed to be on light duty and I was not supposed to be doing anything like that, but Captain Boutwell kind of laughed at me and told me I'd be fine to keep working full duty. So for backup, because I didn't want to get hurt even worse, I called Lieutenant Giddens, and anyway, we just kind of followed what he said until he got to the front, and then Captain came out there and...
Okay. So where did you put him into the chair?
Straight chair in the holding cells up in the intake area.
Okay.
I think it was P3 was the cell we put him in. And
So where was he when you first got to him?
he was in D-pod when he first threw the sandwich. And we fought with him in cell D2.
Okay. And where do y'all actually strap him the chair at?
I believe it was P3, the holding cell.
So how'd you get him from D to P?
After we got him handcuffed, we escorted him up
Okay.
to the front.
So y'all, okay. I'm sorry. P what? Which one? P what?
I believe it was P3.
P3? Okay. And it was in P3 where y'all actually strapped him to the chair?
Yes.
Okay. So once you strap him to the chair, then what happens?
I was told to back out. After a while, the guys kind of took over, and then Captain instructed them to take him to the intake shower area.
And by this time, it's Giddens and Davis?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So did you follow them over there?
I stayed in the intake area, and then at one point I think that I was told to give them the broom so that they didn't have to reach over him to hit that button.
All right, so now I have not spent a lot of time over there in the jail. So when you talk about the shower area, is that near the intake area?
Yeah, like you walk in the door from the sally port, here's our intake desk,
Mhm.
and then to the right is the shower.
Okay.
And there's a door that you can open and close to the
Okay.
shower.
So y'all went from P3 to the shower area, so y'all went through intake.
Yeah.
Okay. And so while Davis and Giddens are dragging him into the shower, right up to
They're
the chair,
pulling him
and then in the
over,
chair, yeah. Where are you?
I was in the intake
You were in the
area.
intake area. Could you see the shower area?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I just have to.
They, at some point they had the door closed, but there were some points where the door was open
Okay.
and I could see in there.
Okay.
And Captain was in there as well, in the actual shower room with them.
Okay. All right. So in the shower area is who?
Captain Boutwell.
Giddens and Davis.
Right.
Okay. Anybody else?
No.
All right. Do you know who's pushing the button? Actually, back.
I believe it was Davis.
Okay.
But he was being instructed to do that.
Okay. Now let me back to that then. So who was doing the instructing?
Captain Boutwell.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
And did you hear him, or were you told that later? Could you hear him give that instruction from where you were in the intake
Yeah,
area?
because I was standing like right at, kind of like against the intake desk. It's a very small intake area, probably from this desk to that cabinet right there.
Okay.
So I'm standing right there.
So
And he said,
you could hear Captain Boutwell telling them to push the button. Okay.
and he actually made a statement, this is how you cool them off.
Okay. And so did you see Davis pushing the button or Giddens pushing the button? Which one?
I didn't actually see it. I just handed him the broom,
Who'd you hand the broom to?
Davis.
Okay. Did he ask for it or who asked for it?
Giddens told me to hand it to them. I'm sorry, it was...
No, that's fine. It's been a while, yeah.
It was one of those two. I don't want to say for sure that I
Okay.
handed. It was Giddens or Davis I handed the broom to, but I remember Giddens telling me to hand him the broom.
And you said earlier so they wouldn't have to keep reaching over him to push the button?
Yeah,
Okay.
so he couldn't, like, I guess, grab him or something.
What was Staten doing during all this?
Screaming, crying, begging them to stop.
Anybody else in the intake room?
Not that I can remember. Because Mobley immediately had to go to the hospital because he had bitten her finger.
Okay.
And then my other officer, I believe, was in main control.
So when it was all said and done, then what? You said he was in there 15 to 20 minutes.
It was a good while. I'm just estimating, but he was taken back to the P cell and left in there for a while in the chair.
What?
Yes.
Is this the incident that eventually led you going to the ER or something like that?
No.
Okay, so this is a separate one.
Right.
Okay, all right. Anything else about this one that you can think of?
No.
Okay, can I take a look at the report?
Yeah.
And then,
I got mine, and I have a copy of Mobley's.
okay, because I'm not going to take these from you. I'm going to let you keep them.
And I got Lieutenant Giddens as well.
Okay, but I think what I will do though is I'll make copies of them before you leave,
Okay.
and that way I can just take a second look at these. So Officer Davis split his shin open on this one.
Yes.
So I know you said Mobley was already gone because of her finger. I see where she got bit. So Officer Davis stayed around doing the shower thing.
And then I sent him because I didn't even know he had hurt his knee until after
Okay.
everything had calmed down.
All right. The nurse. When did Nurse Rob come and check?
When we had him in the restraint chair.
Before the shower?
Yes.
Okay. Was Nurse Rob around at any time during the shower incident that you know of?
I believe that he stepped in his office because he didn't want to be a part of that.
So Nurse Rob was male or female?
He's a male.
Male. So Nurse Rob was aware.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever talk to these folks about this?
A coworker?
Mm-hmm.
No, sir. It bothered me, and I didn't really know who to go to, so I called my dad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I had never really been in a situation like that, and I mean, that was my captain, so I was also kind of scared of the repercussions if I did go to somebody, but I told my dad, he said, you know, don't worry about it, I'll get it taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
and my dad told his captain, I believe.
Sound like he gave you a pretty good fight.
Oh yeah, he did. He's a tiny little thing too, it's always
Those
the
are the
little
worst.
ones.
Those are the worst ones.
They are. And I mean, Davis, he's not a little guy, you know, so
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how much of a fight we had to.
The wiry ones are always the ones you worry about.
Exactly.
Does Nurse Rob still work at the jail?
As far as I know, I haven't been back since I got hurt on May 30th.
So I see a report by you, Giddens, and Mobley. Did Davis not do a report? Or do you know?
I hope he did a report.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to see if there's some of those. Like I said, I'm going to give them back to you. I just like to make copies of them. So.
No problem.
All right. Anything else regarding this? But I want to go back, be sure I remember something right. Captain Boutwell specifically told you, why don't you tell me in your words, what you remember Captain Boutwell telling you as far as how to handle this report and the incident.
It was just pretty much, when you write your report, it was like, you don't gotta put anything in there about the shower incident. And I was like, okay, I mean, you know, he's my boss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tough spot, huh?
He's pretty, hard to be around if you don't do what he asks you to do.
Why's that?
He's never been very nice to me, but, I mean, he just makes it very difficult to work there. If he don't like you or if you do something he doesn't like.
Mm-hmm. What does he do? Do you have an example?
I mean, he pretty much, like, has been harassing me since he started there, so.
Why's that?
I don't know.
What does he harass you about?
Like, every little move I make, I get called into his office, you know, why did you do this? Why didn't you do this?
So it's work related?
Yeah.
He's just, it sounds like Captain Boutwell's kind of control guy?
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough.
And there was an incident with, like, his nephew started working on my shift, and his nephew and the girl on my shift had something going on, and, I mean, it's none of my business, but it started affecting their work. Mm-hmm. So I said something to my lieutenant. I was using the chain of command, and I got called into his office. He said something a little vulgar to me. I don't want to.
I promise I won't blush.
Okay. He told me if Warren wants to stick his dick in Mobley, that's none of your business. And I said, okay. I said, I agree with that. I said, but when it starts, you know, affecting their work performance, then it is my business. I was like, I can't get anything done with them too. And he said, you just need to stay out of it.
So, who's his nephew?
Ryan Warren, he doesn't work there anymore.
He doesn't work anymore. And Mobley, who was one of the witnesses you mentioned in this, was the one that got a finger bit. She was the one he was having a relationship with. Okay. Was Mobley aware of the water incident, the shower thing that time? I know she had left, but
I'm not sure if we ever talked about it with her. I'm sure we probably did.
Okay.
At some point. I have a terrible memory.
That's all right. That's all right. All right. So tell me, it looks like you got some other stuff there.
This is just the day I got hurt with the female. She came in and she was.
What day was this? You said May 30th?
May 30th at approximately 17:15. She came in and she was charged with disorderly conduct.
Who's she?
I'm sorry, Vicky Thomas, Vicky.
So she was actually being booked in that night?
Yes.
Okay.
And she was intoxicated.
Okay.
So I conducted a frisk search and I had her empty her pockets for me, and she got really agitated at this point, and she started putting like her hand in my face, and you know I told her she needed to back up, and my female officer knew that my neck was already messed up, so she kind of stepped in front of me.
Who's that?
Officer Brown.
Okay.
Because she felt like the girl was about to swing on me, I guess, and so then them two started going at it, and I'm standing right behind Brown at this point, and she went to punch Officer Brown in the face. Vicky Thomas did, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
And when she did, I just kind of grabbed her, I was just trying to move her away from her, but my right shoulder connected with her, and then me and her went into a metal door behind us, and like my whole right arm went, the sharp pain went down my arm, and my hand went numb and tingly, so it was painful, and I was really scared because I couldn't feel my hand, so I told him to take her to the chair, and we strapped her in there, and we got her strapped down. I went into the property room because I still couldn't feel my hand.
I'm sorry, it was you and who was the other? Brown?
Me and Officer Brown. The morbid officer that brought her in, which was Fry. And Officer Davis was helping us at this point. So once we got her secured in there, and I knew that they could handle it for a minute, I stepped into the property room because I was trying to like massage my hand and get the feeling back, and I didn't want her to see that she had hurt me.
Yeah. And just to be clear, and I'm not I just want to be sure that it's a series of events. On this one, because of her behavior, because of her fighting, you said, and I guess
Yeah, this
you
was
were the
my
shift
call.
sergeant?
Yes, sir.
Right, okay, so you the only one that made the call, put her in the chair.
Yeah, Captain Boutwell, nobody else was there. It was
Okay.
I believe it was a weekend or something, because
Okay.
nobody else was there, or they were gone for the day,
All right.
because they leave at 4 or 5. But anyway, I told them to put her in the chair, just until she calmed down. And then I went in the property room to try to get the feeling back in my hand, and when I came out, my officers had her in the shower doing the water thing that Captain Boutwell had taught us.
Now, who was it that had her in the water?
Officer Brown and Officer Davis.
So was she in the shower? In the chair?
Yes.
Okay.
And I asked them where the inmate was. Somebody was, I think it was the Mormon officer, was standing out there, and he said, oh, they got her in the shower. So I stepped in there at this point, and
Did he know what was going on? It was probably male or female?
female.
Did he know what was going on?
I believe so. But, I mean, I didn't until I stepped out of the property room, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And, I asked them what was going on, and, they said, well, Captain says this is how we cool him down, so,
Who said that?
it was Davis. I still couldn't feel my hand at this point, so I walked out of the shower and called my captain, and I told
Boutwell?
him, yes,
Okay.
Captain Boutwell, and I told him I needed to go to the hospital.
Did you tell Davis that made stop, or?
No,
Okay. Do you know how long this girl was in there?
I don't know how long, because I went up front and I called my dad and I asked him to come pick me up. But no, I didn't tell him to stop.
Okay. How long did you stay in that shower area?
Maybe about 5 minutes.
Okay. But so you called Captain Boutwell first?
No, I went in the shower area.
No, I mean after the shower area, then you called Captain Boutwell to tell him, hey, I'm injured here, I need to go to the hospital or whatever. And he said, okay, go ahead. Did you tell him what was going on in the shower?
Yeah.
You did? And what did he say?
He said, okay, good.
You said you called your dad, he came pick you up? Okay. You tell him what happened?
I did.
You tell him about the shower part too? Okay. Now, you'd already told your dad about the prior incident. So what did he say this time? I know you kind of looking at him to, hey, what should I do here? So
He shook his head and he said, he was like, that really shouldn't be being done, But I mean, when I called the captain, he said, okay, good,
hard spot, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah. Okay. Did you see Davis or?
Well, I had to go write my report a couple of days after this happened. I had to go to the jail, and when I went there to write my report, I wrote what happened, and then Captain told me I needed to change it and put that she was put in the shower because she refused to take a shower,
Okay.
but she never did refuse to.
What did your initial report say?
It said something to the effect of Inmate Thomas was restrained in the chair and placed in, this is the only part I changed was because she was refusing to do so before the incident. I put she was placed in the shower.
I'm sorry, you initially put it as what? She was restrained to a chair and what?
Placed in the shower, can't remember my exact words, but it was, due to her behavior, is what the first report said.
So that was how you submitted it the first time. And you're saying it was Captain Boutwell that sent it back to you, or what, did he come to you, or did he?
No, I took it to his office
Okay.
and let him read it, and then he said, no, he said, you need to put that she was placed in the shower because she refused to get a shower when she came in.
So he told you to change your report?
Yes. And Brown didn't put the shower part at all in here.
Okay. All right, is that the reports there on that one?
Yes.
Anything else on this that you need to? Okay. So for witnesses, or for everybody that was there on that one, we have the other jailers are Officer Brown and Officer Davis, who are actually involved in putting her in the shower while you were away, right? And it was the Morgan PD officer, Fry, that walked out that you kind of talked to?
I don't think he ever went in the shower. He was standing in the intake area when I walked out of the property room.
Okay.
We have our intake area, we have our holding cells right here, and then the next door down is our property room.
Okay. Was there ever a nurse involved in this one?
No.
Okay.
The nurse wasn't there at that time.
Okay.
I know that the only reason that they put her in the shower though is because that's what we've been taught. And they're acting like that.
So when you say that's what you've been taught,
By our captain.
why is that? Was there ever any like sit down of this is how we do
No.
this, or you just mean as what
It
they've
just-
seen in the past?
Yeah, he
Okay.
said, you know, when they get to acting like this is how you cool them down. That's what he told us with this Staten incident.
Okay.
That's the statement that he made to me, Davis, and Gibbons. And I did call my dad the day that he made me change my report.
Okay. What's your dad say?
He said I needed to go back in there and tell him that that made me feel uncomfortable about, and I was like, I can't do that. And I'm not sure if it was Officer Brown or Officer Davis that decided to put her in the shower that day.
All right. So let me ask you, because you said that's what they were taught to do, and Captain Boutwell told them that before. Did you know of an incident between those two? Because there's about almost 8 weeks, 7 or 8 weeks in between those incidents. So did you know of any other incident in between there that you heard of?
No.
No. Okay.
It's just we had never done that before. I mean, we would have never even thought to put them in the shower. I mean, we put them in their restraint chair many times, but never moved them to the shower afterwards.
When did Captain Boutwell take over the jail? I'm trying to remember when
I think
that
it
was.
was around October of 2015.
Oh, it's been that long ago? Okay. All right.
It was sometime around last year.
All right. Anything else?
No, sir.
Well, you got some other notes and stuff there, so I know what that was about.
That was just stuff I picked up from Dad's house, 'cause I used to live there, but I moved.
Okay, so that part's not relevant to what this is.
No, this is other stuff that he's done personally to me, but it don't have anything to do with any inmates.
Okay. Have you ever heard of an inmate by the name, make sure I get this right, Walter Eller? Are you familiar with an incident that might have happened to him that was similar to this?
I know that one day when I came back to work, he was in the P cells, but I wasn't exactly sure what had happened.
Okay.
With that.
So you never heard about a water incident with him?
Not that I can remember.
That's fine. Have you ever heard about it occurring any other time besides these two?
Not that I can recall.
Okay. Okay. Were you normally on day shift or were you on night shift?
We rotated like every
28
months.
days or 3 months? Okay.
But the last time I worked at the jail was on day shift.
Okay. All right. Were you anything else?
No,
No, is that it? Okay. Well, look, I appreciate you coming in and bringing me all this stuff. I'm gonna make copies of this. And your dad is Terry Griffin, right? Okay. And he's on the dope squad here, right?
Mm-hmm. That's why I called him, because, he's been in it so long.
Yeah. So tell me about Davis. Well, tell me about, what did you see about Giddens and Captain Boutwell? Were they close? Seems like he's in several of these, so what's the story there?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay. Well, that's fine. If you don't know, it's fine.
I mean, me and Giddens, we've been friends for a long time, but, once he got that position, I think he felt like he had to be close with Captain, I guess, because he worked right along with him. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Officer Davis was in both of these incidents. What about, that's a him, that's a he?
Yes.
Tell me about him.
He's a good officer.
Did he really seem to look up to Captain Boutwell, or why do you think he took to this like he did?
I guess because that's what he saw him do before.
Okay.
Like
Did
he
he ever?
was acting the same way that other inmate acted, and I mean that statement was made. When they're acting like this is how you pull them off. So.
Anybody else ever think that maybe that wasn't right? Any conversations about that?
I think there were quite a few people there that didn't agree with that.
Was Officer Davis one of them?
I believe so.
Okay. But Officer Davis did it twice at least, right? Okay. And then you said Mobley wasn't actually there when that first one happened because she was gone with her eye, with her finger.
Right. And then she wasn't on my shift by the time the second one happened. She had to leave.
And we have Officer Brown. Officer Brown wasn't there for the first one though, right?
No, she wasn't on my shift at that time.
So, did y'all ever talk about that afterwards on the second one? I mean, that would have been her first time that you know of seeing that, right?
I haven't been back around them,
Okay.
to talk about it. I've talked to Davis a few times, but it's just him calling to see how I'm doing. We've never really discussed the incident.
Okay. All right. Well, again, I appreciate it. What I want to ask is that let's keep this between us.
Okay.
The less talk about it, the better right now.
I agree.
Yeah, just keep the pressure low for right now. I'm wanting to gather as many facts as I can.
Absolutely.
And then go from there. So, okay. All right, Rina. If you need to reach out to me, it just so happens that my truck is in the shop and I'm out of business cards. But Eugene Owens, the investigator whose office we're in, he'll know how to get in touch with me. So you can always reach out to him, okay?
Thank you.
Got any questions for me?
Yes.
All right. Let's make copies of these, and then I'll give them back to you.
You know where I got that information from? What?
An email?
Jail.
Should have the video.
The show that comes on in the middle of the night. You tell me.
I can tell you that much.
Jail. My employees are scared to death of me. Scared.
Unless they are attached to a cane.
You know where I got that information from? Jail.
I mean, I can tell you that much.
I've been in law enforcement long enough to know.
I can tell you that much.
I've been in law enforcement long enough. I've been in jail. It ain't wrote down. It ain't wrote down.
Jail.
You know where I got that info? Jail.
I can tell you that.
You know where I got that information from?
He was the one that put him in prison.
I can tell you that much.
Jail.
He was the one that
The show that comes on in the middle of the night. You tell me.
He was the one that put him in prison.
My employees are scared to death of me. Scared.
He was the one that put him in prison.
You know where I got that information from?
He was the one that put him in prison.
I've been in law enforcement long enough to know jail. I've been in law enforcement long enough. I've been in jail. It ain't wrote down. It didn't happen. It ain't wrote down. It didn't happen.